Alright, Woosaw. I've reformatted the SD card yet again. Really getting on my nerves. Um, so, we're working on plumbing. A little frustrated, so I apologize. This phone is just on my absolute last nerves with this storage problem constantly. The only thing I use that SD card is for this. Um, It is not used to store anything else, so I don't understand how it continuously fills up. But it is what it is. We're going to keep dealing with it. I'll just keep wiping it. I'm sure I'll lose something important eventually, but I cannot fit in this hole. Um, I was in the process of explaining this pump. My wife went and picked up some gas stations right down the road. So here is one of the fittings. The kids have apparently decided it was a toy and it is out in the yard where it shouldn't be. So I will pick that up later. We'll do something with it. Right now we have the blue hose set up. We set up this pump. It's seen better days. We've had it a long time and got a lot of use out of it. The handle's all rotted off. The throttle cable has now come off, but it's a Generac CW 10K, 1 inch, 30 gallon minute. It's got the siphon hose, and this is what I'm talking about for the filter at the end of that siphon hose. So when we were off grid, we bought this fitting to go on here. This is the outlet. That is the inlet down there. So you take this off, you put water in there, it primes it, and it sends water. And this thing moves some water, let me tell you. But we adapted for off-grid use. We had to go to town and fill up our IBC tanks, and we wanted an easier way than trying to do the siphon and this flimsy hose. They don't have an end on them. They're not made to, so we wanted to use our water, our drinking water, because they're designed for that. So we had a brand new hose, never been used, so it wasn't dirty or anything like that. Anna! Why she has to bark so much. It really gets annoying. But we hooked up our IBC tanks with those connections, and we made that to where we could draw a water hose directly off of the pump, where we could water our animals, we could fill our tanks, and this here would screw onto the pump, onto that the inlet, which allowed that end to go onto the IBC tank. These little clips open up, got buttons here, allows those to unlock. Okay, you slide it on and you lock it back down. That allowed us to hook the pump directly up to the IBC tank. And at first we were trying to draw water from the top of the tank, and we couldn't get, all of the water out of the IBC tanks. So I wanted to devise a system where we could use the pump, and we bought the pump brand new, and so everything was all brand new. We went and bought our water grade, drinking water hoses, and it took me a while in Menards to figure out this system, but we got it. And we were able to draw directly from the IBC tanks, allowing us to get almost every drop of water out of the IBC tanks. Now, as you know, if you're familiar with them, some of them, they're by the drain outlet. They have little divots where that comes up right there. So And sometimes it's hard to get water out of those pockets down there. So you can't usually get every single drop, but we were able to get way more than what we could with the siphon hose, because the filter that goes on the end of those was so bulky, you can't get down far enough to keep your suction. So we devised that to work like that, and then we also had one set up where we could hook up a hose directly to it, very similar to the hose fitting I just showed you, but it's more like the connection I tried showing you before this decided to have issues again. This little guy right here, this is a two-way fitting here, which will allow you to screw in to that fitting, and then you can screw your water hose onto the other end. So we were able to gravity feed out of our tanks, and we were able to pump the water out of our tanks. That was crucial because we had to go to town, fill the tanks, come home, and transfer the water off the trailer. We hauled 3 to 4 tanks at a time. We tried to stick with 3 because 4 was just a lot of weight, and we weren't trying to abuse the truck that far, because we put it through absolute hell, and it's not something I'm proud of. It's just something we had to do, and it survived. It did every bit of it, but we were trying not to work it too hard. We did 3 tanks. 3 tanks seemed to be awesome. It was ideal for our little half-ton Silverado and our 16-foot trailer. So anyway, guys, we were able to bring the water home, get it off the trucks into my brother's tanks. He did the gravity feed out of his because we couldn't get his tanks and stuff to work inside the house that he was in. And I wish I could have. It would have made their life a lot easier out there with us, but they had to give up the ghost and move on. And unfortunately, I lost my brother. But we used our potable water tank in our camper, so we were able to fill our tank up and use our 12-volt pump inside, so we weren't having to feed directly off these tanks. But what I done was we just lined up the tanks. So we usually had one empty tank at the house. I would pull in, we would empty that tank, or we would empty the first tank on the trailer into that empty tank, take a tank off the trailer, and then do the next tank. So we always ended up with one empty IBC tank. As at the end, sometimes we wouldn't have all the water drained out of the IBC tank, so we would use that, go ahead and fill up the water bins for the animals. This thing pushes so much water, we were able to run a 100-foot hose off of it, garden hose, and we were able to take care of all of our animals in a matter of minutes, and it worked fantastic. I mean, when it got real hot, we used the water, we dug holes for the pigs and made big water spots for them to be in, went out and sprayed them down. It worked absolutely fantastic. Now we are trying to get this pump fired up because our ditch has filled up with water. Unfortunately, underneath the house seems to always have water, and I don't know where it's coming from, just as well as the soft spot where we thought we had a water leak, and it turned out not to be a water leak. We dug down, we fired up the water from the meter, and no water came out. The meter was not running, so we covered it back up, and we covered up to the point of the house. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get either through the foundation or under it, or whatever I need to do to finish burying that water line. But I have a pond and a ditch full of water standing in my way to fix our water line where they froze and busted. Unfortunately, my muck boots are only mud proof. They are no longer waterproof, and there's only so much a person can sacrifice, and I'm not willing to sacrifice my daily shoes just to have water in the house, because there's just too much to do around here for me not to be able to wear my shoes. I don't have a shoe dryer, so I cannot put my shoes on a shoe dryer. It went to someone that can use it, and we've got to get another one. So they're not that costly. It's just a matter of getting a new one. But here we are, guys. We are trying to get this water out of here, get the water out from underneath the house. I don't think you all can see that, even if I stick you under there. And let me use the light and see if we can change that. So there's water. There's a big hole here. Somebody put shelves in there at some point. And I've got to get way over there and try to fix the water, because that's where everything is. It's on the other side of the house. So that's where we're at, guys. We're trying to get this pump going, and hopefully we can get under there, figure out what needs to be repaired, go get the parts, and then hopefully have water back in the house. That is our goal. But hang tight, and we'll see what we can do. Alright, guys, we have water getting pumped now. We got it fired up. Took me and my wife both pulling on it, but we're just going to run it under here and let it run out under the house and down the hill. Gotta get that box picked up, but you can see quite a bit of water coming out of there. It won't take much time for this to get drained down. Now, another problem I noticed with these is that doesn't like to stay under the water, but we had a loss of water there. This is not revved up that high. This drains pretty quick. And you can see where the water was to where it's at now. And we haven't been running it for very long. We literally got it fired up, and I showed you guys where we were at. Unfortunately, we can't shut it off because I'm afraid it wouldn't restart. But we're going to see if we can get the water pumped out from under there as well. We may have to... Oh, there it goes. I was about to say, we may have to reprime that, but guys, it's a pretty amazing little pump. We picked that up at Menards. We are not sponsored, but that is where I like to shop for a lot of things, as well as Harbor Freight. we are drawing water out of there, and for some reason we keep losing our suction, but that's what we're working on, guys, and hopefully we can get it out of there far enough that I can get in there, and at some point I think I'm going to have to put a drain in to drain, so that way when that thing fills up under there, it has somewhere to go. But that'll probably be a long time down the road before we can get something like that done. But the pump is working great now, and we finally got it fired up. We haven't used that thing, and well, we used it shortly after we moved in here to clean out the other ditch. But other than that, that thing hasn't been used for my lands. It was probably a couple of years, year and a half, something like that. Like I said, we used it once to clean out the ditch here, and just try to get rid of the frogs and stuff that everybody was having such a kebab about. There wasn't much we could do with that ditch filling up, because every time we shut off the hydrants, it would end up filling back up eventually. But I really think we either have a lot of groundwater here, or the water main is leaking itself, because our meter is not showing that we have a leak at all. So I'm not sure where all the water is coming from, but guys, we are moving a lot of water, that comes out of there like turning on a water hose. I will get you a view from this side once it starts pumping again. There we go. I mean, that's just like turning the faucet on, guys. I mean, that's a lot of water getting moved. And of course it's running downhill there, so mind the mess. It's a mobile home that's getting tore down, so there was a lot of damage under there before we moved here, so we're just dealing with it. I'd love it if I had a piece of equipment to tear that thing down with. It'd have been done. But I'm wanting to salvage some stuff off of it, and I have done videos on all that already. But anyway, guys, that's what we're working on today. We're trying to get water back to the house. We would love to be able to use everything in the house. We're still working on the hot water heater deal, but I was able to get it to where we can have hot water. We just got to turn it on and off to do so, and I can say I will never own another electronically ran hot water heater, because when the motherboard goes out, it's impossible to fix it quickly. Anyway, we could order a new motherboard, but I would rather just get one that I don't have to worry about all that nonsense. It didn't really make that much of a difference. As far as running one that didn't have a motherboard, I'd rather just have the elements, the thermostats. I would actually rather not have any of that at all. I'd like to go to propane. It's more efficient, and I don't have to worry about the power going out. So like I said, I'm wanting to be kind of off-grid sufficient, and I'm wanting everything to be propane as much as possible. I'm not a big, huge fan of it. It's dangerous, but it's not any more dangerous than anything else. So you got to just, I guess, pick your enemies, pick your battles, because everything is equally as dangerous. It can cause equal damage, and just is what it is. I like to go to propane because we can stock up on it. We wouldn't use a bunch of it, and it would keep the electric bill to a minimum, which would actually allow us to sometime in the future go to solar power and propane, and we'd be using natural resources and solar power, and then I could shut the grid off and use it when necessary. But that is in the future. I don't know what the future is going to be for us here, whether we stay, whether we sell, whether we stay and buy some other property for the animals. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I've got to run quite a distance down the road to get parts. Because we go through Menards, we get a rebate, and I've got a heck of a rebate in there to use, so I might as well use the free money to repair the water with versus spending money out of pocket. And the closest Menards to us is a minimum of a 30 to 45 minute drive. So I think I'm gonna cut this one short, and we're gonna see what we can get done here. And hopefully, like I said, I can get under the house and get that fixed. I'm feeling a little bit better, but not a ton. But this is something that has to be done. And we're tired of bucketing water into the house from the outside faucet. So it's time to have some kind of basic human needs met again, and some kind of normalcy, because the stress is absolutely killing me. Literally, got a lot of health issues going on because of my stress. So we're out here trying to get some stuff done, and progress is progress, no matter the scale, guys. We're getting it done. It may be a little at a time. It may not be good enough for some of y'all. It may be more than some of y'all would take on, but either way, it's good enough for us. And as much as I would absolutely love to get more stuff done, I can't. So we're rolling with the punches. I was going to get these birds for you before we go. They're up here just chilling in the wood line. I wonder if they're why we keep getting so much trash that's not ours. Well, it's trash over there. That is not on our property. That is on the other side of the fence. So our fence is right here. If you look back here, that right there is one of those grater blades. That is the actual fence. There's probably about 10 foot from this fence to that one. But they're just hanging out over here, guys. They love it over here. They love to forage. If they're not here, they're in the front yard. So they go all over this property. We have not had a problem with them going to the neighbors. They pretty much stay right here on the property, minus going over there every now and then and picking up some bugs out of the woods. So I am happy with that. I am happy with the progress we're making. Like I said, I wish it was more. I do. And sometimes it gets frustrating and overwhelming. But we can only do what we can do. It is winter time, so it's not just a budget thing. It's too cold to come out here. It's too wet to come out. It's always something. It's winter, so we're taking advantage of the warm weather the best we can and preparing for the next cold front, because February is always the coldest, and that's when we get a lot of snow and ice and everything else, and it has been. And you know, I don't count on a groundhog to tell me what the weather's going to do. I can't even count on radar, so I go by what it has been, and I'm going to plan for that. And if it turns out differently, then awesome. But I'm not going to sit here and think, oh, we're going into warmer weather, because we're not. Um, you know, November to January is cold. Yes, it's cold. It's chilly. You might get some snow, but come February, April, that area, you know, those 3 months right there. You know, usually April, we're starting to see some spring. We've seen it snow in May. So I'm not counting on, you know, spring's going to be here by April, because that's just not the way it's been. It'll warm up. When it warms up, I'm going to prepare for the cold, because February is always the worst. It has been the worst. And, you know, we've still got 2.5, 3 months, 4 months, who knows, to get through of this chilly, cold, sporadic weather. I would love it. The quicker spring can come, the better. We've already got grass starting to come back up in areas, and that is awesome. But I'm afraid it's going to come to an end when February actually kicks in full swing. It is February now, but it's just the beginning. And the weather does what it wants to do. I don't count on the weatherman. I like a little bit of a heads up, but even they can't be 100% accurate. They never have been, and they never will be. It's just impossible. Weather can change in the blink of an eye, and I think people forget that sometimes. We need to give our weathermen a break. They try. They keep up with the images they have to go off of. But we are starting to see some grass coming up, and that is an amazing thing. So can't wait for that. But as I said, guys, we're going to see if we can get some water running in the house, so we don't have to do this outside faucet thing and go shower at somebody else's house, and it's just a mess. I greatly appreciate those that have been humble and allowed us to utilize your facilities. It has been rough, but we may have the water drained down enough to where I can get into the house, so I'm going to get to it, because the day is not getting any longer. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and we will see you next time.